Hi everybody, this is Dan Stolebarger. Welcome to this week's Middle East update. It's the week of February 1st. And just as a reminder, on February 11th, Sharon and I will be heading off to Israel for about 40 days, doing a variety of different experiences and tours, which means although we will continue to do a weekly Middle East update, it will probably only be available as a PDF PowerPoint. And to get that, make sure just go to our website at holygroundexplorations.com and you can access that PDF PowerPoint, which again, I often say gives you much more information than this short YouTube video. So let's take a look at the things that are going on this week in our news bites. We'll start with the situation with Hezbollah. Nasrallah is basically threatening Israel once again. His words, Iran, Syria, Hezbollah could at, quote, any moment decide to deal differently with Israel's actions in Syria, hinting that Tel Aviv might be a target, and he warns Netanyahu not to miscalculate, indicating that there might be more terror tunnels. Again, the Prime Minister dismisses all of this, saying that the Operation Northern Shield has left Hezbollah embarrassed and in distress. There's going to be more about this subject coming up throughout this presentation, but in the eyes of the Palestinian Authority. This is in regards to Trump's ultimate peace deal. Their new strategy, which is going to make it somewhat of an act of treason, a crime, a big political national sin for anybody to capitulate to Trump's plan. So it just seems like we're wasting our time, and I think it's just going to be a huge non-issue. I just don't even believe that it will be given the time of day. The big question is, do all the other Arab leaders support this and, in a sense, shove Abbas and his crew out? That's about the only way I can see this taking place. Now, with what's going on in Syria, recent reports claim that pro-Russian and pro-Iranian forces are actually clashing in Syria itself, raising speculations on just how serious the disagreements are between Russia and Iran. With that being said, Russia is pressuring Israel to back off on any IAF Air Force strikes, especially in the Damascus area. So again, more on that. If you get the PowerPoint, there'll be more information about all of that. Let's end on a positive note. You know, the IDF, Israeli Defense Forces, aside from fighting wars and terrorism, they have a special unit in the IDF that responds first. They are the first responders to the majority of disasters that happen around the world, whether it's what's going on in Brazil, you name it. If there's a disaster, the IDF is usually a first responder. Okay. Specific issues that we'll deal with, Palestinian Strategy, as I said. Mike Pompeo is basically, we're hosting in next month a sort of global get-together to, I think, as a prelude to Trump's ultimate peace plan. But here's the Palestinian strategy that's now based on inciting Arabs against their leaders. Quote, it's a message that Abbas and his officials are sending to the Arabs. You need to join us in our campaign to stop our leaders from making peace with Israel. You must condemn any leader who seeks any kind of normalization with Israel, they are simply traitors. And so again, words like act of treason, this is the strategy of the Palestinians. Shifting subjects, we've got a mess in our Congress these days. I'm staying on a positive thread here. However, in regards to the Golan Heights, the Democratic House leader is now backing both Cruz and Cotton's proposal that the United States recognizes Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights. In light of the serious divisions that are prevalent in the United States Congress, even issues regarding Israel, this is a shining light. We'll see where this goes, but it seems like both parties are in favor of Israel having sovereignty over the Golan Heights. There's an article here you can see that's called Iran, a Man on the Moon. Once again, Iran is pedal to the metal in regards to their ballistic missile program, even as various countries, including the U.S. and Israel, are saying that we can never allow Iran a nuclear bomb. Tehran is basically setting up their sights a bit higher. They are saying that they have a new program, part of a rocket launching program that they want to put a man into space in the next 5 years. This is not fooling anybody, because this is simply a part of a rocket launching program that's believed by a number of governments to be a cover for Iranians' work on their advanced intercontinental ballistic missiles that will be capable of carrying nuclear weapons. So no go there. In regards back to Syria, Israel's strategy in Syria, it may need to be rethunk, I guess you would say. Moscow's public demand that Israel stops its attacks in Syria. We don't know how serious these are, but let's just look at what the strategy is for Israel. According to Netanyahu, this is what's dubbed the campaign between wars. The three major points is: one, to prevent the buildup of a terrorist front on the Golan Heights; two, to prevent Tehran, their military entrenchment in Syria; and three, preventing the acquisitions of long-range precision missiles and rockets by Hezbollah and other Iranian-supported militias. With all of this in mind, and with Russia saying, hey, put on the brakes, we've got this logjam because Iran continues to pursue permanent military bases and economic deals in Syria. They want to maintain a network of Shiites, foreign fighters there, despite Israeli attacks on their positions in Syria. If you think that there is a possibility of peace, let me give you the quote of Hossein Somalia, deputy head of the Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. He declared on Monday that his nation has not abandoned its goal of destroying the Jewish state. He goes on to comment in the interview, our strategy is to erase Israel from the global political map. End of story. That's the goal, and that's the issue that Israel is facing today. There's another article here on Trump questioning U.S. intelligence officials. He lashed out this week, calling them extremely passive and naive about the dangers of Iran during a congressional hearing. He goes on to say they are testing rockets, and more they're coming very close to the edge He goes on Twitter to say, you know, their economy is crashing. That's probably the only thing that's holding them back. We must be careful and vigilant when it comes to Iran. Amen. We all know that, but again, keep your eyes open, watchmen on the wall regarding all of this. I'm out of time. A couple articles. You know, I don't know if you've been following this, but Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, these two Muslims that are now part of our Congress, both pro-Palestinian, pro-BDS, and you know, it's a concern. And so there's some articles on both of them and reactions amongst their other members of Congress with them. I'll leave that for you to read on your own. And then lastly, there's I want you to take the time to read this. It's called Reflections. I'm actually asked a lot, why do you think it's important for Christians to support Israel? I've given you some thoughts on that. We're out of time. May the Lord bless you and keep you, and may the Lord cause his face to shine upon you. And always remember that God blesses those who bless Israel and curses those that curse him. God bless you and shalom.